In recent years, the boundaries between professional sports and celebrity culture have become increasingly porous. High-profile athletes and globally recognized entertainers now operate within overlapping social, commercial, and media ecosystems where personal relationships often attract the same level of scrutiny as professional performance. Within this environment, individual actions are rarely viewed in isolation. They are interpreted through the combined lenses of fame, influence, and public expectation. Cardi B and Stefon occupy prominent positions within these intersecting worlds. Cardi B, born Belcalis Marlinis Almanzar, rose from early internet visibility and reality television to become one of the most commercially successful and culturally influential artists of her generation. Her public identity has been shaped by directness, emotional transparency, and a willingness to address personal matters openly. This approach has helped her build a strong and loyal audience, while also placing her personal decisions under constant observation. Stefon followed a different but equally public path. As a professional football player, he established himself through performance, discipline, and competitive intensity. His career progression, from early success with the Minnesota Vikings to later moves within the NFL, positioned him as one of the league's most recognizable wide receivers. Like many elite athletes, Diggs' public image has been closely tied to his on-field output, leadership qualities, and high expectations from both teams and fans. Their association drew attention not simply because of their individual fame, but because it represented the convergence of two highly visible industries. Relationships involving figures at this level tend to generate immediate speculation, amplified by social media and continuous news cycles. Public interest often extends beyond verified facts, creating an environment where perception can quickly harden into narrative. Against this backdrop, the situation surrounding Diggs and allegations made by a member of his household staff emerged. The initial reports did not originate from public appearances or professional settings, but from a private dispute that entered the legal system. As details became known, the matter shifted from a personal disagreement to an issue with potential criminal implications, drawing attention from law enforcement, the NFL, and the media. At this stage, the circumstances remain defined by formal allegations and legal process rather than conclusions. The involvement of law enforcement introduced procedural boundaries that distinguish rumor from record. In such cases, public commentary carries weight, particularly when it comes from individuals with large platforms and devoted followings. Cardi B's position within this context is shaped by both her relationship with Diggs and her established pattern of public engagement. Her history of addressing controversy directly has often blurred the line between personal defense and public advocacy. That tendency, when applied to a situation involving active legal proceedings, raises questions about influence, responsibility, and the limits of personal loyalty in highly regulated environments. The unfolding situation illustrates how quickly private disputes can escalate when they intersect with fame and institutional oversight. It also highlights the imbalance of power that can exist when public figures engage with individuals outside their social and economic sphere. In such cases, actions taken in the name of support or clarification may carry unintended consequences. At this point, the situation remains defined by allegations, responses, and ongoing legal review. No determinations have been made, and the full scope of responsibility has yet to be established. What is already evident, however, is that the intersection of celebrity influence and legal process creates a complex terrain where restraint and clarity become as significant as loyalty or public image. This context sets the foundation for understanding how the conflict developed, why it escalated so rapidly, and how the actions of those involved came under heightened scrutiny. The sequence of events that followed unfolded away from public view, rooted in a private working relationship that later became the subject of formal legal scrutiny. According to court filings and police documentation referenced in reporting, the conflict originated inside Stefon Diggs' residence and involved his personal chef, who had been employed in a domestic capacity rather than a public-facing role. What initially appeared to be a dispute over compensation soon escalated into allegations with serious criminal implications. The chef's account centers on an incident dated December 20, described as a confrontation over unpaid wages. Specifically, she alleged that she had been instructed to take a week off work and was not compensated for that period, leading to an argument when she raised the issue. According to the police report, the disagreement intensified inside the home, culminating in claims that Diggs entered her bedroom and became physically aggressive. The allegations include being struck across the face and placed in a chokehold that restricted her breathing. These claims form the basis for felony charges related to strangulation or suffocation, as well as misdemeanor assault and battery. Once the allegations became public, the situation moved quickly from a private legal matter to a broader media issue. Coverage expanded beyond local reporting, drawing national attention due to Diggs' profile as an NFL player. The league reportedly began monitoring the situation, while corporate partners and sponsors adopted a cautious stance, largely refraining from public comment as the legal process took shape. It was within this environment that Cardi B became publicly involved. Her entry into the situation did not come through a formal statement or legal filing, but through social media activity. Cardi shared screenshots of direct messages between herself and the chef, which she stated demonstrated that the alleged victim had not mentioned physical harm during their prior conversations. Cardi framed these messages as evidence that the public narrative was incomplete and asserted her belief in Diggs' innocence. Her statements went beyond expression of support. In public posts, Cardi emphasized her personal confidence in Diggs and criticized individuals she believed were spreading false information. At one point, she invoked her child in asserting that the allegations were untrue and demanded apologies from those she accused of harassment. The tone and visibility of these posts ensured they reached a wide audience, further intensifying public debate. The chef's response to Cardi's outreach was notably restrained. According to reporting, she declined to engage directly and instead referred Cardi to a mediator, emphasizing the need for confidentiality and appropriate legal channels. This response underscored the shift from informal communication to a structured legal process, where private conversations can carry legal significance. Observers and legal commentators began to raise concerns about the implications of Cardi's involvement. While public figures frequently defend associates, the context of an active criminal case introduces additional considerations. Any communication with a complainant, particularly when shared publicly, can be scrutinized for its potential impact on testimony or legal proceedings. Commentators noted that even actions intended as clarification or defense could be interpreted differently once examined through a legal lens. The situation was further complicated by fragments of online speculation, including cryptic messages attributed to the chef that circulated on social platforms. While these posts fueled discussion, they did not alter the formal status of the allegations, which remained grounded in the police report and pending legal review. Nonetheless, the volume of commentary contributed to an atmosphere where narrative often moved faster than verified information. The posts circulated rapidly across platforms. Screenshots and excerpts were shared widely, often detached from their original context. Some readers focused on the spiritual language itself, noting that references to satanic rituals and child sacrifice closely resemble long-standing conspiracy theories about global elites. Others focused on Minaj's choice not to name any individual, which left room for speculation while avoiding direct legal exposure. Minaj followed the initial post with additional comments reinforcing the same theme. She wrote that the jig is up, a phrase commonly used to suggest that a hidden truth has been exposed. In doing so, she positioned herself as someone revealing information that others were either unwilling or unable to acknowledge. The framing was not personal grievance, but moral accusation, suggesting that success in the highest levels of the industry required participation in evil acts. The matter remained unresolved, with key questions left to the courts rather than public opinion. What was clear, however, was that the intersection of legal proceedings and celebrity advocacy had introduced additional tension into an already complex situation, setting the stage for broader consequences still to come. As the legal process continues, the situation surrounding Stefon Diggs and Cardi B now extends beyond the initial allegations and into broader questions about responsibility, influence, and restraint. The case has highlighted how quickly a private dispute can escalate when it intersects with celebrity status, social media access, and ongoing criminal proceedings. What remains unresolved is not only the factual determination of the allegations themselves, but also the extent to which public intervention can alter the trajectory of a legal case. For Diggs, the immediate implications are professional as well as legal. Felony charges carry potential consequences that extend well beyond the courtroom, including league discipline, contractual uncertainty, and reputational damage that may persist regardless of outcome. The NFL's approach in such cases has historically balanced due process with public accountability, often resulting in parallel evaluations that unfold alongside criminal proceedings. Until the matter is resolved, Diggs' standing within the league remains subject to scrutiny. Cardi B's involvement introduces a separate set of considerations. Her decision to publicly defend Diggs, release private communications, and address the alleged victim directly has drawn attention to the risks associated with intervening in an active case. While expressions of loyalty are common in personal relationships, the legal system evaluates actions based on their potential effect, not their intent. The possibility that her actions could be examined as interference underscores how celebrity platforms can complicate already sensitive situations. More broadly, the episode reflects the changing dynamics of public discourse around legal allegations. Social media has reduced the distance between private communication and public declaration, allowing narratives to form rapidly and often without full context. In such an environment, the line between personal defense and public pressure can become blurred, creating challenges for both legal authorities and those involved. Several questions remain unanswered. How will prosecutors interpret the public release of private messages connected to the case? Will additional evidence clarify or contradict the competing accounts already in circulation? And to what extent will public commentary influence institutional responses from the NFL and affiliated organizations? These uncertainties reinforce the reality that outcomes in high-profile cases are shaped not only by facts but by timing, conduct, and perception. In the long term, the situation may serve as a cautionary example of how celebrity involvement can complicate legal matters. It illustrates the importance of allowing formal processes to proceed without interference, particularly when allegations involve serious criminal charges. It also raises questions about the responsibilities that accompany influence, especially when actions taken in defense of one individual may carry consequences for others. Until the courts reach a conclusion, the matter remains defined by tension rather than resolution. What is clear is that the intersection of fame, loyalty, and legal accountability has lasting implications. For those involved, the outcome will shape careers and public identities. For observers, it underscores the limits of public advocacy in situations where the stakes extend far beyond reputation and into the realm of criminal law.